What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Brew podcast. If you're new here, I'm your host, Kayla. I interview musicians, creators, and other cool people with the goal to entertain you guys. This week, I'm sitting down with all three members of the DC-based band Brian K and the Parkway. This was super fun, so grab your listening snack and get ready to meet Brian, Steven, and Mike. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm super glad that you reached out. I'm hoping we could start with some introductions. So what are your names and where are you from?
Sure, I'll start. I'm Brian K. Pagels. I live in Alexandria, Virginia, but I'm originally from Freehold, New Jersey.
What do you play, Brian?
I play the guitar, sometimes the piano, and I sing.
I'm Steven. I play drums. We all live in the DC area. And I'm originally from North Carolina, which is why we often have a lot of Southeast dates.
Nice.
And I play drums, and I also do a lot of producing work in the studio on our music.
Cool. And I'm Mike Shade. I'm also in Alexandria. I'm one of the few that you could probably call a DC native. I was born around here and grew up around here. I play lead guitar, acoustic, electric, and I sing some backup vocals with Brian K.
Awesome. Are you guys down for some quick lightning round questions to get to know you a little better?
Oh boy, like right off the bat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what is your current song on repeat?
We have to go in the same order, right? It's going to get confusing.
If you want to, yeah.
Brian, you're up.
Okay, so you're based in Austin, right?
I am.
Okay. So I love this Austin band called Good Looks. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but
I'm not, but I'll check them out.
They put out one of my favorite records of the last year, so I'm going to go with Good Looks, If It's Gone, which is what was one of their big singles off that record.
All right, my answer is I've been listening to the latest Waxahachie album, Tiger's Blood, a lot, and I adore that album, and this is not a slander like it normally would be, but all the songs kind of sound the same to me, and so I'm just going to consider that album one big, amazing song that I literally have just had on the record player for like months now.
That's awesome.
I listen to a ton of stuff, but there's one song that's been coming up on my playlist like super often lately, and it's the Traveling McCurry's Lonesome, Ornery, and Mean, and I'll never skip it, so I'm gonna call that one.
I love a no-skip song. What's a current show that you're watching right now?
What Mike means is that he listens to everything that doesn't have drums in it.
Pretty much.
Oh, but drums is the fun part.
Okay, sorry. I just had to get that jab in there. When Mike has the tour playlist going, it's no drums.
Oh, man. No, the drums is the fun part.
I can get down to some drums, but they're just not a required element, you know?
Ooh.
So
I'll go.
I think the question was shows, Steven.
Yeah. Sorry. Favorite shows, current shows. I'll actually go. I am finishing a years-long rewatch of King of the Hill in preparation for the King of the Hill reboot. To stick with the Texas theme.
Oh, nice.
I've never actually watched the entire show, so it's really fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have been making my way through the latest season of Andor, the Star Wars show. I have not watched the last episode yet, so no spoilers.
No spoilers.
For me, but I know directionally where it's going because I know the story, but yeah, I haven't seen the last episode yet. Enjoying it a lot.
Awesome. I actually watched a little King of the Hill last night and tonight, but I'm really deep into a rewatch of like Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Ooh. One of my favorites.
Nice. I'm watching The Last of Us right now.
Oh, so depressing.
Yeah, right?
Enjoy.
I watched... Wait, how many seasons are there of that show so far?
They're on the second one.
Oh, only the second. Okay, I've seen the first season.
But there's games out. I don't play the games, though. So my friends know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but it's very games. Depressing.
It's a rough ride. Y'all have fun.
Yeah.
With that. That's a ride you can only do once, I think.
Yeah, I signed up for it and I kind of regret it. Okay, do you guys prefer digital or vinyl?
Vinyl for me, for sure.
I agree. What would be your death row meal?
Gosh, I would say they couldn't serve it anymore because this place is gone. But there was a pizzeria that there are multiple locations of it. One is still around, but the one that I preferred it was called Federici's. It was in Howell, New Jersey, and I would just have just a plain cheese pizza from Federici's. That would be it for me.
Is that the Danny Federici family?
Probably at some point back in the line, but not directly related.
Okay, not an E Street connection.
No, but Bruce always goes to the one in Freehold.
Well, of course. Yeah. Of course he does.
Yeah.
My last meal would be a Wendy's Frosty because we have tried unsuccessfully to get Wendy's Frosties on every tour we've done so far.
That's true.
It's all I can think of. It's all I want.
What a staple.
I just finally want a friggin' Wendy's Frosty.
I'd go for a big thick ribeye and a baked potato.
Ooh.
Nice.
I think that would just have to do it.
Ooh.
Okay, tell me more about your band, Brian K. and the Parkway. How did you guys become a band?
Sure. A long and winding road for sure. But the short version of it is Steven had been encouraging me to work on an album together for a long time. The dates change. Like the size of a fish you just caught, I think, over the years. But
8 years.
8, 12, 15, I mean, whatever. But he asked me for a long time, and then I finally started sending him demos right before the pandemic actually hit. And it wound up being kind of a blessing and a curse, but I guess mostly probably a blessing because I had enough time to write the whole first album and then like sit on it for a year and not do anything with it and doubt myself as all great artists do. And then we came back together and we were like, these songs are actually pretty good. Let's actually work on arranging them and putting it together. So anyway, long story short, that's how it started, was Steven and I kind of working together on these demos that I had written over the course of kind of 2020, 2021. And then we released that album last year. It's called Killing the Bear. We put it out in March of 2024. And Mike has been playing with us since the release show. So that was our first like real public show, was the album release date in March of 24. And he joined the band soon after that.
That's super fun. And our common link here is Mr. Davis IL, who was on a previous episode of mine with Barnes Courtney and his buddies. And you guys recently performed at NYC with his new band, Bell and Chain. Tell me more about that show, because I heard it was pretty awesome.
It was awesome. So we have kind of an unofficial fourth member of our band who, if we could afford to have her perform with us at every show, she might, maybe. But Kat Popper is... Brian reached out to Kat on her website a couple years ago to ask if she would sing a duet on our album on a song called Straight Through. And unlike most attempts when you try to reach someone through their website, she responded basically immediately. And that was awesome enough, but she actually came and played our album release, and like we kind of hit it off, and all of us became friends with Kat. And Kat has played, like, I try not to think about it. I don't have many like famous friends, so I just like, Kat is a normal person to me. But Kat has also performed with like Willie Nelson and spent years in like Ryan Adams' band and has played with Grace Potter and like has performed with Jack White. Like, she's been in all these incredible bands, and
she's in a band with Norah Jones.
She is in a band with Norah Jones.
That's crazy.
And Mike and I got to go to like a private like rehearsal they were doing last year, which was probably the coolest thing that's happened.
So awesome.
Like, and so, but she's also just like a really cool, chill person, and we've become good friends. I've become good friends with like her husband, it's like, so like from there, but we had never actually like performed live with her on bass. And so we had the show coming up in New York with Bell and Chain, who are fantastic. Spencer Grammer is in that band, and she's on Mick and Morty. Is that the name of the show? I'm showing how uncool I am. I know her from a show called Greek, which was on TV years ago. It was really fun to meet her. And so we knew they were on the bill. We knew it would be cool. And our friends Lake Cambrian were on the bill, and they're just freaking amazing. Actually, the bass player for Wheatus, who did Teenage Dirtbag, he's in that band.
That's crazy.
And so we were like, well, we need an awesome bass player for the show. And Kat was going to come to the show to hang out with us, which is maybe the weirdest part of the story. And so we were like, hey, why don't you like play the song you did with us and play bass with us at the show? And yeah, it was friggin' awesome playing with her in that setting. I'm not allowed to talk about if we've ever played with her in any other setting. But it was awesome to do that show. And yeah, Bell and Chain were super cool. We all really enjoyed their set. And it's just one of those like great, weird New York nights. One of my friends was wearing a suit, and I kept telling people in the other bands that he was from a record label.
Oh my god.
And so hopefully none of them listen to this podcast and realize how full of shit I was.
Hey, if you said it with enough confidence, it could be true.
Hey,
I did.
That's this guy's MO.
But yeah, it was awesome. It was, you do a ton of shows and like you remember some of them a little, but this I think is one that I'll remember a long time.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's super cool. I'm hoping to get Bell and Chain on sometime later this summer, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see kind of where all they take that. I think this was one of their first like full band shows, and they held their own on a bill with bands who've been playing together a long time. Well, not technically long for us, but we've all like been doing this a really long freaking time, so it was cool. They sounded good.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Let's talk about your recent EP, Kill It Again. Do each of you have a favorite song off of it?
I mean, I'll start. I always like what's new. So the impetus for Kill It Again was, we had released this album, Killing the Bear, a year before, and we had started performing these shows because of circumstances in some degrees as like an acoustic trio, which was never like the original intention for the band, but it turned out that it worked really well. And in order to do that, we had to start rearranging some of the material to make it work in a more like acoustic format. And so, we changed up the feel and the rhythm of some of the songs and the arrangements to a certain degree. So we knew we were going to put out this EP of largely like acoustic rearrangements of this material, but I'm always like looking toward what's new. Like I don't want everything just to be like a rehashing of things that have come before, even if they've been rearranged. And feature the great Mike Shade for the first time recorded with us, playing lead guitar, which was great. But my favorite track is Lifeboat, which is the newest single that we've released, and it's on that album. And I wrote it recently, and so I don't know if it's recency bias or if the song's any good, but that's my favorite one.
I have to go with the double parenthetical. Is the grass really greener in the Green Mountain State acoustic?
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Takes forever to scroll by.
That's how it burns itself into your memory, and that's kind of what it did for me too. Especially because Brian and I kind of reworked some of the turning this into an acoustic song. Felt like it needed something a little different. And we spent a little time like reworking some of the refrain and some of the instrumental parts. So I really enjoyed that one. And then we actually took a trip up to the Green Mountain State, which was my first time in Vermont, so it's even more special to me now.
Yeah, I think my favorite on the EP is the version of Just Rock and Roll. One reason being that sometimes when you make a record, there ends up being a song that like you dig it, but then you play it and you get tired of it pretty quickly. For me, the electric version of that song like fits that bill. But one of the first things we ever did with Mike was we were standing in this field in Alexandria, and it was freaking cold that day in November. And this was like well before Killing the Bear came out. We were like filming promotional material, and I had like just met Mike, and we played together like once, and then went out in this like park and recorded this version of Just Rock and Roll, which is a lot different, especially from a drummer perspective. It's like almost a friggin' country song, but like I just remember standing in the park and like listening to Mike shred this solo. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like Mike is an incredible picker. Like he is like out of this world. And like, that was just the beginning of us playing and me just listening to Mike. Because Mike improvs pretty much all of his solo work. So we had like a nice YouTube video, but we were doing this EP in part to like, because we did work hard on these arrangements. Like what we're not saying is that the way to make money sometimes is to just play acoustic music in like a brewery. And, not everything can be a full band rock show. Those often lose money. But the brewery shows like are a good way to like bring in some capital. So we had to learn to play this way. But, it's a lot of fun to do this. And this was always kind of like one of my favorite things we did. And so then we sat down and we were like, well, now we have to record it And, we did it in just 2 takes, but, to me, there was a lot of personal pressure on myself because I love this version of the song so much. And I wanted it to feel the way it felt when we were playing it that day, where I was just kind of one of those moments where, for a long time it had just been me and Brian. And Brian and I are like really good friends, and we have this whole dynamic. And then there's suddenly this new guy, and he's like making our song sound 10 times better than it did. And so to me, like, I love this recording of that song. Like, I put it on. I don't normally put on our music because I have to listen to it 18 million times when we're working on it. But like that version of the song, like, really just like it slaps, as the kids say. And it's great that we still like play it with that energy, even though it's like one of the first things we ever did together.
Oh, that's great. I like hearing the stories behind songs. I think that's really cool. I have to ask because it ties into what Mike said. Is the grass really greener in Vermont? I've never been.
Oh, it absolutely is, for sure. I mean, we all confirmed that as we were driving back. I mean, I've been many times. That's why I wrote the song. It's been an escape for me and my wife, and also to me, like, going back to childhood, I would go there with my parents. I've always loved the place, but we all agreed as we were driving back to New York from Vermont on the last day of this little run we did. We all looked out the window and agreed the grass was in fact really greener. So
I pulled out the Pantone swatches just to be sure it's true.
The soil is more nutrient rich.
That's true. That is true. I was giving them some geological intel on the trip.
Maybe that should be the title of the next song.
Indeed.
We'll do a sequel version of it.
I think you should.
We're going back in the fall. It's fun. Like, that was one of the hardest places for us to get to that we knew we really wanted to play. And we haven't been doing this really very long in this band. I've toured a long time in bands and been a lot of different places, but I had also never played in Vermont. And yeah, it took actually us getting on a podcast and meeting some people through that to like end up there.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
like home.
Is this how we're going to play Austin? That's what I want to know.
Please do, yeah. Come play Austin.
With good looks, ideally, I guess.
Would love to play Austin. I went to Austin once, but it was like a disaster kind of trip. So.
Oh no! Do I dare ask what happened?
It was like early South by Southwest times. Yeah, it's not a fun story actually. But I did go. I have been there. I guess South by Southwest was not as much of a shit show at that time as it is now, but it certainly didn't work out for what I was doing there.
Oh boy.
So I would love a redemption arc with Austin. I have had great times in Texas, but not Austin in particular yet.
Yeah,
but
there's lots of cool venues, so.
I know, there's so many.
I have to ask also, is the artwork for the EP a zoomed out version of the cover art for Killing the Bear?
It's an alternate cut. We were playing a show down in South Carolina, and we played the title track of the album, Kill It Again.
Steven, I've got to stop you. You said the title track was Kill It Again. I've got to correct the record here.
But... Oh, sorry. The title track of our first album was Killing the Bear.
There we go.
And sorry. And all these albums. And there's this guy, we finished the song, and it's pretty rhythmic. There's a lot of guitar solos, and this guy in the back yells, "Kill it again!" And I immediately was like, well, if we end up recording this acoustic EP, we should probably just call it that. So yeah, we worked with my best friend, Daniel Machado, who does all of our art design when we can afford to pay someone to do it, which is unfortunately not everything. But, we went to him and we were like, all right, we're releasing this acoustic EP. So, and it's got a lot of like kind of twangy guitar solos on it. So it needs to look like a heavy metal album, right? So that was like what we ended up coming up with. But yeah, it's really fun. I mean, I love doing this band. Like, I was thinking about this with Vermont. Like, you go to a lot of places that you love, but you also get to work with people who you love, and you meet new people and you become friends. And like, that's, to me, the essence of why I'm doing this band. The creative part is really nice, but it's really cool to just do stuff with people you enjoy being with.
I hope this guy knows that the EP is named after him screaming.
Well, we're going back. So
Yeah.
if he's there, we're going to tell the story. So hopefully he'll be there.
Good. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
if there was an EP named after all the weird stuff I've heard people yell at shows. I was just on a show with my friend and some dude in the front row screamed, "Give me something nasty!" And we quote that all the time because it was so funny.
I love that. That's great.
It was really awesome. And it was not the kind of show that you would give something nasty, so I don't know what he was thinking.
Was he just really jonesing for it? He's
I
like, "I'm
don't
bored."
know. It was so weird.
We had a show recently where one of our friends, I found out later, started just like chanting people's names who were in the bands, and it was great. I think Mike got a chant. I highly recommend that.
Pretty
for
sure I
shows. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I highly recommend that.
It lifts your spirits, especially when you can hear it like in between. You're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Mike's got to play even faster and in
Oh, I
a
bet
weirder,
that's so cool.
weirder tone for the song.
You have to make a funny face or something. I feel like whenever a guitarist is shredding, they're always making a funny face.
Ooh.
I think we get some really good drum faces actually. Like that's
Oh,
where
that's
all the funny photos come from.
That's
Or,
true.
Oh boy.
Mike,
I'm sorry, the awesome photos. Yes.
no, Mike just looks cool when he plays guitar. How do you do that? What's your secret?
A lot of practice in the mirror. No, I'm kidding.
Mike, does it have to do with that like limited? What's that like that approach you use? That's like limited movement or something like that. I forget the term.
Just being economical.
Economical, yeah.
Economical.
Yeah. With your face as well, I guess.
Oh my god.
I guess so.
Is this like a guitar technique?
Well, it's just like not moving more than you have to when you're trying to do something. Brian and I were talking about it at one point, and there's some guys who like when they're playing, they're just flailing up and down and get really out of control. And sometimes I do, but like you can actually play cleaner and better if you're just like a little conscientious about that, like posture, staying loose, But I think what's the real secret is like I'm thinking so hard about what I'm doing that I just can't move the rest of my body, so I just stand there.
One of the most fun things for those of you, probably everyone who is listening to this podcast who's never heard our band, especially in a live setting, hopefully you'll go check out the music. But like there are a good many sections where we just kind of let Mike loose. It's interesting being in a band with these two guys because Brian can also fucking shred on the guitar, but Brian loves to write a solo and perform it as it was recorded. Like it was perfect and he's not going to top it. That said, like if Mike's not there, Brian will also go off and that's really fun. But in our normal shows where Mike is there, one of my jobs is when we're doing a jam and Mike is just going is to like kind of like try and get in Mike's head and figure out when like Mike has run out of ideas for the jam. And it's really hard, like, because there's sometimes I'm like, oh, we're wrapping up, and then he just, like, goes into another thing. And I'm like, nope, we're still going, still doing it. But, it's because he doesn't really express himself as much, like, physically or in his face. Like, I can't tell when he's, like, reaching his, like, peak, So it's a really interesting challenge. I also can't see worth a shit. So it makes it even harder. He's really giving me nothing except the sounds coming out of the guitar. But it's fun, and I think most of the time it works out.
That's pretty awesome. I think the measure of success with guitar solos is when the audience like sings the guitar part back at you, in my opinion.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Those are Brian's.
the composed solos, but also, I mean, what's cool is like there are some songs where I'll play that like composed solo, and if I don't mess it up, people will sing along accurately to it, and then. But then we'll do, some other breakdown, and then Mike will take a solo, completely improvised, where we're all just, like, feeling really free, which is great, like, because then it's, like, a little bit of both, and I really enjoy that, so.
And Mike does a great job of, like, referencing the other solos. I think this is, like, one of the more fun dynamics within our band. It's harder to capture in recording, I will admit. It's really more of, like, a live experience of watching kind of the two of them play off of each other.
That's super cool. I am hoping to see it live someday.
In Austin.
Because
Maybe
I
not
so
South by
rarely go to
Southwest.
the East Coast.
Yeah, we haven't made it west of, like, Chicago. We hope someone's going to come along and pump some money into this thing and help us. So if anyone's out there...
Really, you just gotta go south of Chicago. I think.
That's what I was thinking. We're already Central Time.
That's true.
Right?
It might
I
be
think you're
west
just-
enough. Let me consult a map.
I'm geographically challenged, don't quote me on that, but I think you just go down. Half the nation down, but you know. Will you break down American Pharaoh for me? What was the inspiration behind that song?
I think I read it. So the reason for the spelling of Pharaoh, which is like a non-traditional spelling, is intentional. It's because it's half about the racehorse. I should preface this by saying I usually don't like to talk in detail about like what the songs are really about, because I do pretty strongly believe that like once you put a song out into the world, it's not yours anymore, at least not entirely. Like it's yours as much as it is everyone else who listens to it. I really do believe that. And I always want everyone to like take away from the song whatever they need to take away from it. So I don't believe in like correct or incorrect interpretations. And I think the one slight caveat to that would be if the interpretation is like causing someone harm. But aside from that, like, take away whatever you need to take away from the song. So with all that being said, what I was thinking about when I wrote the song was the Triple Crown winning racehorse American Pharaoh. But as is the case with a lot of the songs on our first record, I and really in general for my songwriting, I even for myself don't only want one interpretation for a given song. So I try to write every song at least two different levels, so it works in telling two different stories. So if you go through the lyrics of that song, you'll realize like it works in telling the story of the racehorse American Pharaoh, but it also works in telling the story of like this guy, generic gentleman, who, you know, basically followed all the rules, like worked his whole life for the man, put his money away, only to have like the market crash as he was getting ready to retire. And suddenly he has nothing, and he doesn't know where to go from there. So he's continuing to like live even in his last days under, as the song says, someone else's boot. So that's like the very positive, uplifting story of that song. But that, yeah, I think I was inspired to write it because I read some story like about the racehorse, and then it just like took me off in this direction that I wanted to write this song about. So
That's so cool. Those are two very different interpretations of this song. I think Steven mentioned to me an upcoming single called Scarecrow. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it, but if you are, what can you tell me about this song?
I guess it depends when this is going to be released.
Next Friday.
What I'm going to say about Scarecrow then in that context is that Scarecrow is an old song of Brian's. It is like 20 years old. Brian will be like, I don't have any new songs, but here's like 30 demos from when I was a child 20 years ago. and they're like friggin' amazing songs. And Scarecrow is one of those songs, and we are hoping to release it this fall, and we want it to become the song of the fall. So this is a very early, get your thinking cap on. You know, you have song of the summer, but no one's like, what's my song for my like pumpkin spice latte?
Oh, dude, I'm in.
And we need Scarecrow to be that song to lift our band to new heights. But we are really excited about it. It's definitely a live banger song that we actually played really live for the first time at that New York show, and it hit the way we all thought it would hit, which if you've ever been in a band, that's not always the way it works. Like you'll be super stoked for a song and people will be like, that's fine, you know, it's probably like, go ahead, Mike.
We could call it the anthem of the autumn.
Oh, I like that. Spooky.
Mike, that's great. Yes, I love it. I will say that even though it is an older song that I wrote, there are new parts and a new arrangement to it that were never considered until the three of us got together and worked on it. So there is something definitely new to it that the folks who heard me play it at like an open mic many years ago would not recognize. So,
Okay,
But
yeah.
the hook is the same. Like the hook is pretty much the same. But yeah, we really actually the recorded version sounds totally different than like the acoustic version that we messed around with for a while and still sometimes perform. Like the recorded version is pretty different vibe. It's really cool, and it is definitely we've only put out 2 things, and one of them's an acoustic EP, so it feels dumb to say that it's not necessarily what people would expect from us to put out next, but it's not going to be what people expect, and pretty excited about that.
I'm obsessed with Halloween, so I'm very excited.
ooh, me too.
Yeah. The follow-up question, without going too much into detail then, Brian, is the meaning behind the song, has it changed over time from when you first wrote it to when you're playing it now?
Absolutely, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but good to know.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is a great tease. Like, I want to listen to this song.
I want to listen to it right this second, actually.
I really do want to listen to it because we're like waiting on our mixer.
That's true.
Sean, if you're listening to this podcast instead of mixing our album, can you give me a call?
Sean, please.
Sean mixes for like Sturgill Simpson, so like he's busy.
You could be the people's champion, Sean.
But the people need Scarecrow.
I need it.
No, we're excited. I've never done a like tour where you put out one song and you're like, this is the Scarecrow tour. So, this is all about trying stuff new, and that's new in 2025. So that's it's a little sample of what people have to look forward to from us later this year.
Are you guys ready for some silly questions?
Always.
Yes.
Okay. American Pharaoh mentions feeling free as a parrot. If you were a parrot, where would you fly to?
South America.
Ooh, how far can parrots fly?
I don't know.
Okay. I am gonna fly to Oregon and go to Crater Lake because I've always wanted to go.
I love
And
Oregon.
it's really hot now all of a sudden. And I don't think you can swim in Crater Lake. You probably will like drown or something, but
Oh.
I would fly there if I were a parrot, if I can fly that far.
In this
Honestly-
hypothetical, yes.
Honestly, I'd just fly out of the cage. I feel like that line in particular is like double meaning. So
Were you aware, when you were picking your band name, that you drive in a parkway but park in a driveway?
Yes.
Absolutely.
acutely.
The funniest thing about the band name is we named it that in part because between where Mike and Brian live and where I live is the George Washington Parkway, which is beautiful. And sometimes the route I take to get to their house, but like I don't actually drive. So I've never actually driven on the George Washington Parkway that our band is named after.
That's okay.
It is a really nice ride. What is it? Is it like 30 miles? It's like national park land, basically.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's like a sliver of national park land that kind of cuts along the Potomac. So there's really nice sights kind of the whole way.
It's gorgeous.
That sounds really pretty.
Whatever state you live in, it's whatever parkway you're fond of.
That's
so
true.
that you like our band more. It's
Insert
super relatable.
parkway here. What is the craziest thing that has ever happened to you?
Ooh.
It could be related to the band or it could not be. It's up to you.
Is it like family appropriate or?
No.
Okay, just do a little filter.
I'm gonna go with having Steve Poltz dance to our acoustic set up in Vermont. That was pretty crazy and unexpected, and recent memory and
Nice.
band related. So I think
That dude. Steve wrote a bunch of Jules songs in the 90s for anyone listening who hasn't heard of him,
That's super cool.
including You Were Meant for Me, which we got to hear him perform, which was very cool. And he is hilarious, but also just like very sweet. And like we were the opener for the opener for the opener for the opener at the show, and he like listened to every single one of our songs and like danced and had a good time. And like there aren't many people like that in the world. So I'm actually gonna say like that was one of the crazier things for me too in a weekend of kind of crazy things, because that was also the day we got to perform with Kat. And I do think also getting to like finally play with her was one of the coolest things for me too. None of these things are the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, but they are the most band related.
I met Shaquille O'Neal and Julius Erving on the same night when I was like 12 years old. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Dude.
I have photos of this. It's like me, little 12-year-old me standing next to Shaquille O'Neal, 7'1".
Oh.
It was pretty incredible. I got to go because we knew this basketball player named Tim Perry who played for the 76ers, and my grandfather was like a big supporter of his, and he was involved in kind of local sports in the area. And so we went to, back in high school days. So we like basically passed our name to the security personnel. This would never happen these days. Never happen. But we passed our name to the security personnel at the Spectrum, the old Spectrum in Philly. And they were like, sure, come on through. So like I got to go back and like, meet all the players as they were like coming out, and they were playing. This is when Shaq was playing on the Magic, and so I got to meet him and like all of both teams basically. And Dr. J was working in the front office, I think, for the 76ers at the time. So that was a real, for a 12-year-old super basketball fan me, that was a crazy experience. Yeah.
That's nuts. We have in Texas, they sell Shaq gummy like candies that look like his face.
Oh, yeah.
They got those here now, too. Yeah.
They're so silly.
That's amazing.
Okay, the last silly question is, in your professional opinion, which of the M&M characters is the sexiest? Like the M&M candy people.
Oh, I thought you meant like Eminem the rapper. I was going to say B Rabbit for sure. But okay.
Dido. Dido's hot.
I'm going to let Mike go on this one.
Oh, I got nothing. I got nothing on this one. I don't even know the characters.
Look, there's
one?
like,
I don't know.
there's
The yellow
red.
one?
The green one is the sexy lady, obvious answer. The red one is like kind of the instigator
Yeah.
type. Like and the brown one is like kind of the dopey one. We have all three of these in this band. We have all three of these characters. So I have to go red because I'm the instigator.
Oh my god.
So I don't know if that's the answer for who's sexiest, but I definitely relate most to the red one. And red is my favorite color.
Hey, I'll take it.
I think green is the traditional answer, right?
Yeah, most people go between green or brown.
Brian, I'm
Brown.
not letting you out of this. It's your turn.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say green because it's my favorite color.
Not because it's an aphrodisiac M&M candy.
I don't know.
Is the shell really greener?
It's a green M&M state.
Let's call these tracks for the next EP.
The next EP is just all riffs on that one song.
I think it should be. I would listen to it.
We're plump out of ideas already. It's only been a year. That is actually hilariously untrue.
Do a states album and just do a bunch of like something parentheses of whatever state it is, and then another parentheses.
It's got to be all the ones that Sufjan Stevens didn't do. Did he do like 2 or 3? I know the Illinois one, but like I think he did a couple. But anyway,
I thought it was interesting in I think when you're playing that song in Vermont, which we've only done twice. One night I felt like people were really into it. Steve Poltz was especially into it. But the next night everyone was just kind of like, "Hey, why are you singing a song about where we live?" Like, we live here. And so, like it's kind of an interesting thing. I wonder how that would actually go,
That is interesting, actually, yeah.
We have a wonderful friend here named Jason Mendelson, who played keys with us. And if Cat Popper is the 4th member of the band, Jason's like the 6th member of the band. I don't know who the 5th is, but she's played with us more recently than he has. But Jason, there are I shouldn't even try. There are a bunch of Metro stations in DC, and Jason long ago did an album called Metro Songs, multiple albums, where he wrote a song about every single Metro station in DC. God. And some of these are like Federal Triangle. Like, these are the most boring ass Metro stations on earth. And he like wrote an interesting song about all of them.
That's really impressive.
It's really, I'm sure that's still online. It's a wild listen. So if you ever come to DC, you should look that up.
Okay.
Just to get prepared.
Oh yeah, I'm on one of those songs, by the way.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, at the Navy Yard Nats Park station, he wrote a song called "At the Ballpark," and I play lead guitar on that. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Aaron's on it too, and Ryan and our friend Rachel Leviton is on that song too. So yeah, it's fun.
Everyone was on those albums except for me and Mike in the DC area.
Damn.
I was holding out for Foggy Bottom.
You got passed over, bro. Sorry. When we do our album about every bus stop in the DC area, then you can be on the songs.
Oh, God.
It's going to be 3,000 tracks.
That would be crazy, actually. Well, I do this segment on the show called Artists Asking Artists, where the guest that I last had on asks a question for you, and then you guys get to ask a question for whoever I have on next. So the last episode that I did was with a British jazz musician. His name is Luke Marzik, and he would like to know, how do you get out of writer's block?
For me, it is just, I actually learned this trick from the singer-songwriter Margaret Glaspie, who I took like a songwriting online class with maybe 2 years ago. And she's great, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know her. She introduced me to this practice where essentially it's like you set a timer for like 12 or 15 minutes and basically just you like pick up your instrument. In my case, usually a guitar, sometimes piano. You pick up your piano and you start, and you just start playing and then singing. Like you start playing whatever chords come to mind and you start singing whatever melody comes to mind. And then you keep on like working on that and workshopping it in this very like abbreviated period of time. And you will kind of be surprised with what you come up with. Like I did this last night. It wasn't even intentional. Steven sent an idea in our band text thread about an idea that he had for a transition between two songs. Hey, Huey. I heard Huey.
Is this the dog?
Yeah.
Huey is
Hello.
here. Huey's here. I'm going to mute myself.
Oh, God, I wish I
am
could
to
see
finish
the
this
dog.
story.
Oh,
I'm
he's so cute.
I'll send you a picture.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
God.
But anyway, yeah, Steven sent this like idea for like a transition between two songs in our band text thread. And I sat down to try to figure out like what he meant by it, and then I just wound up writing this song that sounded like a Tom Waits thing. And I was like, I don't know what you were going for, but I just wrote like a Tom Waits song.
What if we put this whole song in between as the transition?
That's an idea. Yeah.
That's the transition.
That's the
it.
parentheses in between the parentheses.
It's the ellipses.
Okay, and now you guys can ask a question for whoever I have next. Totally
Do
up
we get
to
to
you.
know who's up next?
If I did my scheduling right, it should be another Austin-based artist. Her name's Mickey, and her band is Mickey and the Doom, and she's super awesome.
That's a great name. My question was going to be, what is your worst song that people love?
That's a great one.
I might do a slight tweaking of the wording there, but I'll let you decide how to handle that.
Like worst to you.
What is your least favorite song that people love, or something like that? Or what is your... Yeah, I know, yeah.
No, that definitely, I know what you mean. The thought
Brian's
is
so
there.
nice. He's just so kind.
Hey, we love it. We love it.
He's the brown M&M.
And you're the red M&M. Which one is
Yes.
Mike?
Green, obviously.
Mike's got the legs.
Yeah, exactly.
It is short season, so...
That's so true. That's so true. Okay, last but not least, is there anything you want to promote? Do you have any upcoming shows? And where can people find you?
People can find us on everywhere you listen to music, Spotify or Bandcamp, Apple, Shazam, everywhere. We're on every social media. No one had the name Brian K in the Parkway, so you can easily find us. We've got a little acoustic tour coming up to promote Kill It Again, and then we will have a longer tour coming in October, hopefully to promote Scarecrow, since we did such a good job building that up in this podcast episode.
The Scarecrow tour.
For the Field of Streams tour, the Anthem of Autumn. Check us out, briankandtheparkway.com. If you like what you hear, hit us up so we know to come to your city. We do love to travel, we tour, and really like to see the people who are checking us out online. There's often a disconnect between those two things, and we really want to be out there and then meeting people. So check us out. Come hang out with us at a show.
Something just materialized. Brian and I are doing a little duo gig, opening up for Nikki Bloom next month. Super stoked for that one because in like an old band I used to play in, we covered a couple of her songs, and I've been following her, and it was just like super cool surprise to see that come across the old text thread.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
that'll be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I'll be working merch. So come buy some t-shirts.
Nice.
Mike's favorite show ever, no drums.
Oh my god.
Full circle. Full circle.
Boom.
Perfect.
Oh, all the way. No, it'll be great. I'm stoked for that too.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fun shows coming up. We're going back to Vermont. You know, we've got some stuff we haven't been able to announce yet. That's really fun. So
Ooh, good stuff. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining. This was so fun.
Thank you,
so
Kayla.
much for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla. It's been great. The Anthem of the Autumn has to make it to Austin, right? Just for alliteration's sake only.
We need triple A's.
Hopefully, it's successful enough that we get a 2026 continuation.
There we go.
I think you could make it blow up on like TikTok or something. Start a fake trend where you post your Halloween pictures with the song in the background, and then like children will catch on. Or I think, yeah.
Steven, you're fired. We're hiring Kayla as our social media manager.
That is fine. That is not a problem.
That's all for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, share it with a friend. Be sure to follow Brian K and the Parkway on social media and keep your eyes out for the Anthem of the Autumn. I am so excited to listen to Scarecrow when it comes out. Follow the show, leave a review, and stick around. My next interview is going to be with Mickey and the Doom, and I can't wait for you to hear it.